Draymond is guarding his man Kleber initially, but sags off in anticipation of Powell rolling to the rim and pays the price, but we'll see later in this video why he kinda had to. Curry's guarding Josh Green here and holding his ground. Not sure why this is called a foul. Curry himself would never get this whistle. Good communication on this play as Klay tells Draymond to switch on the pick and roll as he slides over to Kleber. Draymond makes it just in time to smother Powell at the rim. Poor communication between Loon and Klay on this play. Loon had to hedge or switch completely on the pick and roll, but it looks like he wanted a direct switch, which means Klay should have been trailing the roller. The fact that Klay didn't switch tells me there was a lack of communication between him and Loon. Now there's a needless double team on Luka 30 feet from the rim. He jumps in the air, forcing Draymond to assume a pass to Kleber, but he dumps it off to Powell, who should have either finished the play or found an open man for three. He fumbles the ball and bails out the Warriors, but this was a failed defensive possession from an execution standpoint. Complete and utter nonsense by the refs on this play. Draymond gives Curry the DHO and rolls to the rim. He dumps it off to Loon, making no contact with any Mavs player, but the ref calls an offensive foul on Draymond. What in the fuck? More bad communication here. Mavs run Spain. Klay gets through the initial screen, but there's clearly no communication between Klay and Curry because Klay decides to switch onto Curry's man, and Curry, not realizing that's what Klay decided to do, also decides to run back to his man, leaving Luka wide open. Luckily, Luka breaks the shot. A simple yell of switch by Klay here would have given Curry clarity so that he could stay on Luka, but ideally, Klay should have just said, "I'm here," so that Curry doesn't have to switch onto the bigger Luka. That would have been the high IQ defensive decision with complete clarity on the play overall. Communication is the ultimate key to a great defense, and Warriors have already failed multiple times in that regard in the beginning moments of this game. Here's a nice individual stop by Draymond in transition to prevent the layup. Remember in the very beginning of the video when I said there's a reason Draymond had to sag off his man to protect the paint? Here's why. Kuminga is face guarding Luka initially but uses ice despite no screen being set on him, which forces Draymond up to trap Luka. Maybe the game plan was always to trap Luka to take something away from the Mavs. Although I think this kind of game plan is only necessary if a player actually gets hot in the game. This, in turn, forces Klay to switch onto the bigger Powell, but you can see it's not going to end up well for the Warriors because Klay stays behind Powell on the play instead of fronting him and forcing Luka to pass out to Green. With minimal resistance right under the basket from Klay, Powell gets a free layup on the play. There's no point in trapping Luka if this is the kind of possession you're going to give up in the process, and it also shows that Draymond needs to almost always be the anchor because Klay simply doesn't have the size nor the defensive awareness to protect the paint against bigger players. Steve Kerr somehow seems to have forgotten this season that Klay is a shooting guard, not a power forward. Awful sequence from Dante here as he loses the ball while dribbling into the defender. He's looked very tired in the month of March and has been sporadic on both ends. He exacerbates the turnover by allowing an easy bucket in transition. Here's an example of how Curry helps make the game easier for his teammates at times. It looks so simple in real time, but a lot happens here. He sets the screen for Draymond and forces an unexpected defensive switch, which confuses Draymond's defender into now having to go up on Curry. Powell also sees Curry opening up, which makes him lose focus of Kuminga. Draymond is in the split action now. Kuminga makes a simple cut to the basket for the wide open dunk. When people refer to gravity, this would be a good example of it. There are not many guards in the league who can force this kind of action by setting strong screens and moving without the ball. Not the best defensive possession by Curry here. Dante tells Curry to watch his man. Curry tells Dante to switch. No problem. Bullock cuts away to give Luka space. Curry then sags down far too much as the helper, allowing Holiday to get a wide open three. You have to be able to recover on your man in this kind of defensive setting, and he simply sagged too much. Double on Luka isn't necessary if he isn't destroying your team with individual scoring. Got away with one because Holiday missed, but the process wasn't great. Here's an example of Curry not getting the whistle that most stars would get. He comes around the curl, Holiday meets him there, but clearly uses his whole right leg to trip Curry to the ground. No call. Curry still manages to find Dante as he falls somehow, but Dante breaks. More terrible transition D by Dante, who turns his back to the dribbler, allowing a head of steam and giving up an alley-oop. Draymond directs Kuminga to get out of the corner to provide better spacing for Curry here. Kuminga kinda does it as he skips his way towards the rim. Luka curiously stops following him, which leaves Kuminga wide open at the rim, but Kuminga's indecisive skipping allowed Green to recover just enough to discourage him from going straight up. He passes out to an open Dante. Green recovers, Dante gives it back to Kuminga, who elects to step back and shoot the corner three. It's not a bad shot, but a hint of indecisiveness prevented what should have been an easy dunk for him. Lack of clarity here defensively. Curry's man sets a high screen for Luka, Kuminga goes over it to try to stay on Luka, but Curry looks fully committed, which means Kuminga should just switch. But we don't know if this was due to poor communication or because they wanted to trap Luka. Seems like a common theme so far, but it's really nonsensical to trap Luka from 35 feet out, given that he's barely done any of their scoring so far, and last I checked, he ain't Steph. Curry does manage to recover some on his man. Powell once again loses the ball on Dante's help. Warriors once again get away with one. Dante with another goofy play in transition is starting to become a theme. Poole needlessly goes under the screen despite guarding a sharpshooter. Luckily, Bullock doesn't launch. Then he needlessly doubles Luka doing God knows what with that leg kick. Curry's in position to help on Bullock, and Klay splits the difference in the corner and ultimately stops his man in the paint. Rare nonsense from Draymond here. 2 seconds on the shot clock, he leaves his man completely, then lunges at him and commits a comical foul. Warriors go to split action once again and the play goes awry. This is where I usually get fed up, because you're 7 minutes into the game and Curry hasn't taken a single shot. It's especially hard for Curry to get going when the other team is constantly top blocking and face guarding him, and you need your best player to be more involved, plain and simple. The best way to do that, of course, is just give him the ball and let him take control. You just can't play offense through Draymond all day. Warriors finally get the ball to Curry, who promptly throws it away. Thanks for proving my point, Steph. Kuminga picks up Luka once again full court style. I like the willingness and energy to make Luka work, but all that work is fruitless here, where Luka rejects the screen with the slightest of a smitty. Kuminga has plenty of time to get back in front of Luka, but allows a line drive to the rim, where once again, Klay's presence as a rim protector is not really a thing. Klay then gets out in transition and burps up an ill-advised contested three. A messy possession here. Curry gets around Bullock through Kuminga's screen, but JaMychal Green is also there for no good reason, as his man completely clogs any opportunity for Curry to attack Luka. Also, is it just me, or does it look like Curry gets tripped up here by Bullock? It kinda looks like Curry trips up himself because he realizes he can't drive with Kleber in the way, but it also looks like Bullock's leg is there for the trip. You tell me on this one, and if you like the content so far, hit the subscribe button and like this video. Anyway, Curry sets yet another great screen, causing a switch to give JaMychal Green an advantage against the smaller Bullock. JaMychal Green fails to deliver with a wild shot at the rim. Better luck here on the pick and roll with Klay clearing his man and a Curry dump off for the dunk. Kuminga with the full court press here. Holiday sets a strange screen near out of bounds. Poole is able to trap and Kuminga gets a steal for the dunk. Great defensive play. Curry's out in transition. Klay draws Kleber away, opening the lane for a wide open layup. Holiday clearly fouls Curry on the reach in here, but of course, no call. Complete nonsense here from Poole. Klay is right there, but Poole goes for the goofy looking trap, leaving his man wide open for the three. What is he doing? More luck for Warriors as Holiday misses another open look. Another bad defensive possession for Warriors. Luka is once again being guarded by Kuminga. JaMychal Green is watching Luka and basically in no man's land, but luckily, Poole reads the screen action up top and blows it up for both Holiday and Wood. Nice. Lamb, meanwhile, is supposedly in position to help in the paint, but as always, leaves his man completely wide open. Klay has no idea his man is setting the off-ball screen on Lamb, who wouldn't have made it out to the shooter anyway. Mavs finally make the Warriors pay with another wide open three. Simple action where Poole spins around Luka and draws Wood, pause, Kuminga splashes the three. Warriors in a box and one-ish defense against Luka, but once again Lamb isn't guarding anybody and Wood gets the easy layup. JaMychal Green actually does a nice job here one-on-one, forcing Wood to pass out of the situation. The ball moves around, Kuminga is a tad slow getting to his man, who launches the moment he catches the ball. Tough. Here's a split action with Kuminga in the post. He elects to ignore an open Poole and dribbles into the paint, finding a wide open Lamb in the corner for the three. Nice creation. Warriors ultimately allowed 33 points in the first quarter. They have consistently let teams get wide open shots on the road, and that's just not a recipe for long-term success, evidenced by their recent 11-game road losing streak. They also need to start talking possession by possession on defense, which is a key basic principle to be a great defensive team. If they continue to fail in that regard, it's going to hurt big time come playoffs. The good news is that GP2 is due back soon, and he'll instantly impact their defense positively. If you want to see a breakdown of quarter 2, let me know in the comments section. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the breakdown. See you soon.